I got some ideas, I got some pals, let's get together and pitch some games. Alright, Shay, so this is probably going to be, if not the longest episode, the most prolific episode of this Game Ideas, just because out of every Nintendo series, what do you think is the one that everybody knows?
Mario?
Mario, perhaps, but I don't know. I'm going to say Pokemon is the one that dominates overall. Grandmas know about Pokemon just because there's toys, there's everything about Pokemon. There's like the show. Mario doesn't have that outreach anymore.
Not really.
It's everything. Pokemon are gonna be in some soccer league championship this year. I can't remember. Someone adopted them. They gave Pokemon like the jerseys for some country. Maybe it was Japan. I swear it was something weird like France or something like that. But anyway, I mean,
Well, it makes sense considering the recent installment.
Yeah, they're huge. Pokemon sells way more than Mario, I believe. Like, pretty sure about that. But, you know, let's not compare numbers with that so someone can prove me wrong. But it does have a farther reach than, I don't know. I mean, Mario's for everybody and Pokemon is for everybody as well. But there's that one key demographic of, like, trading and stuff that Mario just doesn't have. And the whole, you gotta get them all.
Gotta catch them all.
You gotta buy them all, kids. You gotta do it. And we're not gonna make it easy for you. We're gonna make it super fucking hard.
Yeah.
There can only be one Pokemon Master. Yeah. So, Pokemon first started in 1996 by the kind of all over the place company Game Freak. And after the success of Pokemon, they've had a couple games after that, but it's mostly been focused on Pokemon since.
Right.
And Pokemon has just taken over Nintendo for one of their like huge key franchises. And this show, as you and the listeners know, is all about renovating the series. And in some ways, the newest one, Pokemon X and Y, kind of did that. You know, they finally brought it into semi 3D world. Yep. They did it in a way that was still along the lines of like the anime, where they had everything cel shaded and it looked good. And but you know, with all the changes, they made tweaks here and there, and pretty much since the first one in '96, they've always just upgraded that, just like some tweaks here and there to the battle system or how things work. But they really haven't really outdone themselves in how the thing is. No matter what, there's always some stupid teen that's trying to take over the world or release Pokemon or something. And there's always a kid, and you know, no matter how many rivals or whatever twist they give to that, it's always rivals. There's always 8 gyms, there's always an Elite Four. There have been some twists in that where there's something afterwards, but primarily that's basically it. And there's always been 2, so they have to trade between the 2 because some Pokemon are exclusive to the other one, and so forth and so on. So another topic we get on the focus here of this show is, do we want a gritty reboot of this series? Oof. And you know, I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think that would really suit it that well. But there's some pictures that we have in our gallery that kind of would suggest maybe some kind of darker tones. But before we get into the pictures, do you have any ideas on like what you want from Pokemon going forward?
Pokemon's always just kind of been, I don't know, I've always been really happy with what they do. It's never very much. It's always the same, and I guess I suppose it's just like Mario. They found something that worked and they just kind of ran with it.
That's kind of the problem with Pokemon, though.
Yeah,
and,
I agree with that.
I think the worst part between every single series is fucking the new additions to Pokemon. That's gotta stop, you guys. You can't have a pile of fucking garbage as a Pokemon or a fucking keychain. Are you kidding? What? Come on. Don't be. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Why don't you just fucking add? Oh, it's Deskosaur. It's a dinosaur desk, and it has drawers, and it was born with drawers. And if you put something in a drawer, then it evolves into fuck you. What are you talking about? The
Yeah,
fuck?
when they started adding inanimate objects, I started thinking that this is starting to cross the lines in Digimon.
Yeah, pretty soon it'll be Mon after everything, but that'd probably be crossing along
But
with copyright or whatever.
I'm fine with Digimon. I just uh, there's a line that they they should stop crossing, and it's just mix up your when you make a new continent, just add a few, you know, like the legendaries, but quit making a whole bunch of really weird ones.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
Trubbish was
there's
horrible.
there's so many that's hard to like remember them all, and it's not even like someone being old. Like, there's too many. I can't possibly remember them all. What's that green one's name? It's just a matter of it's a matter of quantity over quality. It's like we want more quality than quantity. It's what there's like 700 something
Yeah.
now, and it's like, am I going to, if I'm catching these things all the catchings? Am I going to use every single one? No, they're just going to fucking sit in a box
And
somewhere.
I don't even think at that point you can hold that many. Can you?
Well, with the Pokemon Bank, you could. And you know what? Something I noticed is I think when I started X and Y, there was like 12 boxes, and I'm like, that's not going to hold them all. But I think as you get more Pokemon, I think it expands without you even knowing. I'm pretty sure, because I swear I went back and was like, there's more than I thought there was. So that's just my guess that the boxes just keep on expanding.
I've noticed the couple updates. Maybe that's what the updates are for.
Yeah, I have noticed that too. It's like, why is this blue light flashing? Like, I'm not getting anything, so perhaps that is what that's doing or something. Either way, it's just, I mean, what if they rebooted the series? Just like, we're going back to the drawing board, new monsters, we're deleting everything.
Somebody at my workplace was talking about how they want Pokemon to be reimagined in the Skyrim universe. And I was like, really?
Everything is realistic.
I was like, really? You wanna travel that in that big of an area? You wanna travel and find 8 gyms that are littered amongst there, and I mean, if it's in Skyrim, then you have an open-ended world. You don't have to follow these linear paths. I guess that would be nice, but you could end up stumbling into a gym that you're really not ready to take on, unless, I guess,
maybe everything scales to you.
I guess that'd be the only way that would work, to have like a non-linear.
And then they can make the fucking game hard again. Because I don't know about you, but Pokemon has never really been that hard.
Not really.
But Pokemon X and Y seemed really
they gave you that
easy.
experience share like right away.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, that's cool, so I don't have to worry about that, but that made it super easy. And the Mega Evolution, it's like, I'm just pounding these guys left and right. And since they don't, like, level with you, but the trainers and stuff, it's like, okay, I can grind here, and oh, look, I'm over-leveled as usual. And I mean, the one strategy that people always do is like, well, I'm just going to have my one starter Pokemon and make him be in all the battles, and then, you know, by that point he's like at level 100 at the end of the game, and everyone else is lower, but high enough so that they can do damage, but not as high and powerful to withstand everything. Because I use my...
I've been constantly switching mine around, because I want to get all the evolutions, you know, marked in the Pokedex.
Yes, I'm trying to do that too, and whatever, and eventually I'll, like, give up, as I always do, because scrooge it, man. I got all 150. I got the certificate in the game that said I'm a Pokemon Master, and that's as fun. That's all I need. That's all I need. Just one game. Just one game in blue. I got so many hours, I believe it stopped counting after... I think it stopped after 99, or maybe that was something else, but it's either like 99 or 100 something, but either way, it's...
If it's like Final Fantasy 9, the hours just roll over, so it restarts after 99 hours.
Oh, really? They roll over in 9?
Yeah. That's
crazy. In 7, they
If you're
stop.
looking to get Excalibur 2, that's how you do it without having to rush through the game.
Oh, really? It actually bugs out like that?
It resets after 99 hours. So then you just have to leave your game running. I know it's horrible for your PlayStation to leave it on, but if you just leave it on for, I don't know, what's that, like 4 days, 5 days?
Well, I know people have like done speedruns in order to get it, but that's something else.
Sorry.
But you bring up Skyrim. That's okay. You bring up Skyrim, and that's what people really want. It's like an open world Pokemon game where, I mean, that's what people wanted when they came with the Coliseum games, But
Right.
those are just basically you're just fighting Pokemon against each other. There's not really any story. There was the Dark Battles or that GameCube
right.
one.
You got Eevee, and then
Yeah,
he could
and it
either
was,
be Espeon or the dark or the light one.
And I played a little bit of that, but that was basically the same exact thing. There was a little bit of story to it, but you weren't really catching things. I believe you were buying them or you gained them through the
Right.
story or something. It wasn't the open world that people wanted. I mean, it was getting close, but they haven't done it yet. And the reason, the producer, the director or something, he says he never wants to bring them over because it started on the handhelds and you can't really trade as easily on the consoles or whatever.
Right.
This is supposed to be a portable series, and I agree with that. This is a grinding game. It's easier to grind on like a portable system than on the console, but I mean, I'd still like it. I mean, I play tons of RPGs on the system. That's no excuse. Like even if it's more convenient to have it on the portable system,
Right.
there's an online architecture like with all the big consoles now that trading would be super easy to do
Yeah.
online, if not more so actually. And yeah, it wouldn't have the same magic as being able to carry it everywhere, especially because that's what kids. A lot of kids don't have TVs and they have their own game system instead.
Yeah.
And I can see that, but especially for Japanese homes. And
Well,
whatever,
what about
'cause-
say if the PlayStation got a hold of the rights to be able to have a console version of Pokemon, or even actually
Never.
no, Nintendo could do this. They could do it correctly because they could make some attachment or add some extra feature to the Wii U. Because they have that whole the Wii U the controller can become the game for a while.
Yes.
Well, just have that, and when you have to take it on the road, have the game on your portable device, and have it on your system, so you could play the game on your Wii. And when your parents are like, "Hey, Timmy, go to bed," I don't want to go to bed. Go to fucking bed. Secretly,
If they
put it
made a
into
game
the Game Boy,
that you could play,
and then
if you made a game that you could play on the 3DS, they would be downgrading basically the quality of what the console version would
Right.
be in order for it to run on the 3DS.
or
So that'd be almost like defeating the purpose of making like some huge
or
big
actually
thing.
maybe
But if they do it on the Wii U, at least kids can play it around
you
the
remember
house.
the Pokewalkers?
Yeah.
That have the 3DS version that transfers from your Wii, have it be that, but you can have like little adventures in Pokemon Town or the Dream World or something like that.
There's definitely ways they can do
Make-
it, and they don't even have to make it Pokemon Z or a Gem Color or some other thing. They can just make it a spin-off title to have it for the console to make Coliseum and what they were doing and actually make it like into a huge thing where maybe it's like you know what? I know they've already done it before, but they should just maybe reboot
Pokemon Snap.
no, of course. That should work on the 3DS though.
Oh
with,
man,
the camera.
could you imagine that? Like using the 3D camera?
To like snap around your room? Because they already done that with the genies, right? They fly around the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where Pokemon Snap should be. But no, like reboot the original games and have it be more akin to like maybe the anime, but like more maybe like the original comic.
Oh, the
I guess
comic
maybe a
was
little bit.
really good. I remember. I had a friend that bought it.
and just have it be like mature and just like maybe teen.
See, I guess the biggest issue I have with Pokemon, being in a bigger, broader world, is when you don't have Pokemon at the beginning of the game, are you just going to be running around punching monsters?
No, you still get the gym or Professor Oak gives
I
you
think,
Pokemon.
you know what game would translate really well to a bigger world? That that Nobunaga's ambition. I don't.
Yeah, you can see a tactical game spanning out
Well, I
from
mean,
that.
just
And,
having the general or your trainer and his Pokemon, so you could. Oh wait, that may be a little too complicated. Having like 4 Pokemon out plus like a combatant and having to like macro all of that into combat, it might be a little complicated.
see, we keep on spinning off into more and more things, and that's why it's so hard. Is because there's like been so many spin-offs of Pokemon that there's just so many ideas there. But a lot of people also want like Pokemon MMO, and it's with X and Y the functionality of the 3DS with being able to like Wonder Trade and battle anywhere. It's it's pretty close. I don't know why. I mean, it'd be more convenient if someone was like standing next to you in a world than having to wait for like a signal to try and battle. That's for sure.
Yeah.
In order to have like an MMO though, it would have to be in a big infrastructure. So I mean, the Wii U could work. And it'd be interesting. That's for sure. And they could definitely do it. But then, you know how Nintendo is with
They don't.
their friend codes and everything, and just like letting it's a children's game, so like having children meet up with people online, it's like they would like, I don't know if you should do that.
Yeah.
But of course they're doing that anyway with this. I don't know. They need to just get over it. Like if kids want to be kids are
You're
going to
walking
be
on thin ice
mishandled
here.
by weird adults anyway. So if it's online, they're not gonna just parental. I don't know. Whatever.
Like when you get your DS anyway, they ask you, "Oh, are you over the age of 13?" And most
they can lie about that.
most
shit
kids,
too.
before they get the DS, some parents will go and like set it up for them. So, they'll put parental locks on certain things.
It's so Nintendo is so complicated with their stuff. I try to like do this stuff. It's like, first you must go back to your thing. It's like I'm 26-year-old. Please let me just unlock everything and not have me get an email and then to put in a code. I'm like, are you kidding me? Jesus Louises! You have Xbox 360 and the PlayStation and whatever, and people are called a fag and whatever all the time. But just whatever, let that happen. It's just do it. Just make it easy. People are still going to call you whatever anyway on message boards and Nintendo's forums or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't protect them. They're like a mother that just won't let their baby go, and it's like, no, we've got to put them in a bubble. They're never going to know what sex is until and we're gonna homeschool them, and they're not going to know anything evil in the world until they go out in the world and find out, holy shit, the world's so weird, and I'm going to go crazy because I had no limits when I was. Or I had limits when I was inside, but now I have no limits, and I'm gonna go, oh no, I'm dead from cocaine. Nintendo, Nintendo, that's what you're doing too. Well, we're way off from whatever. Pokemon has had many spin-offs. They've had the Pokemon Ranger, and I didn't really care for that. They had the Pokemon Conquest, like you said, which I did think deserves a sequel because that works so well. Such a weird concept, but that tactical game definitely needs improvement to the way they handled it, but it was a very good first start. There's the Pokemon Dungeon games, which
I have a few of those.
I'm not really a fan of. They've had a fucking 1,000 of those.
I only have 2, so I haven't. I have Explorers of Sky, and I have the one for the 3DS.
That's another. Why do they need 2 of those? I understand the concept of Pokemon, the normal games having to have 2, but there's no reason really to have 2. You're not catching Pokemon.
I don't really
You're
understand.
getting,
You friend Pokemon, and you do like requests and stuff, and
it's not this. They're just basically just trying to get more money or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pokemon's a huge cash cow for stuff, and that's something they're not changing because they fucking sell anyway. Why broke what ain't fixed in their mind or whatever. What else? There's Pokemon Snap that definitely needs like a sequel, probably for the 3DS.
That should get the darker sequel. Be like Beyond Good
speaking
and Evil?
of children, you're actually like an old man. You gotta catch Pokemon to lure out children, and then when the children come out, that's when you take the pictures.
No, you remember that game
Beyond? Now get naked with Bulbasaur.
Isn't Beyond Good and Evil, where you go around with a pig guy and you take.
Yeah. That's Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah. Just
take pictures of people abusing Pokemon, then you gotta get the
yeah.
Officer Jenny, arrest that man. He was raping his
Did
penguin
you see that?
monster.
He left his ponytail out in the rain. He should die.
Yeah, he didn't even use a condom.
Whoa. Squirrel.
Let's see what else. What other spin-offs have there been? That's mostly... Yeah. All the spin-offs, except for Conquest, have been kind of so-so in my mind. But let's get to the pictures.
Right.
And let's go forth and see what we can gather from what we got. So the first one is Legos. And, you know, this could be an interesting game. But it would have to be, like, limited, I would say. Just because... I mean, you can't be collecting Legos to make Pokemon or whatever. It could be like a mystery dungeon where they have like Legos or whatever, and you only control like a certain amount. But I think it would be cool to see Pokemon as Legos or whatever. And this is kind of a picture I just threw in there, just as a weird like, what if one of the highest grossing toys of all time combined with the highest grossing video games of all time? Whoa, what would happen? I like how that penguin, I can't remember what its name is. Pentan. Yeah, Piplup. Has like breasts or nipples or something.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. The next one is, I just think it's kind of cool how the avatar has kind of evolved.
Yeah, he's gotten slightly taller.
Yeah, and his head has gotten fucking huge.
It has.
His body has stayed kind of the same, but his head has just gotten huge.
His hats have gotten huge.
I like the only one
what's with the third one? I
was to say, that's the only one that really looks different.
Yeah, otherwise, well...
That's his hair. He has a headband.
3 and 6. They're the only two that have different, like, hats. Well, 3, that's his hair, right?
3 is hair, yeah, and 6?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the gold, so that's the same as 2.
Oh.
That's just the cap. Yeah.
Nice.
That's weird.
What's
1 and 2? 5, that would be platinum and stuff.
Oh.
So that'd be diamond and pearl.
And
so
4's a
been...
remake of the first one.
Yes.
Okay.
So I believe there's been 6 generations now. So there's fire, or not fire. So red, blue, and then gold and silver, and then sapphire and ruby. After that was diamond and pearl, and then black and white, and then there was the Pokemon X and Y. There were remakes in between there and sequels for black and white and stuff, but that is basically what the generations translate into. And this was old, obviously, since it doesn't incorporate what the new one is, but the new one actually looks like it has a body, so I think it would probably be the size of probably the last 2
breaking the
maybe
mold.
combined. Yeah. There's like giant. Let's move on though. Now this, I think it would be really cool. Yeah, I don't know if I want Nintendo to buy Disney, or I don't think that's possible actually. I think it'd be awesome if Disney acquired Nintendo. Can you imagine what fucking juggernaut that would be?
Oof.
Disney and Nintendo?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, Disney's been swiping up left and right. They got, Star Wars now, they got Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel! They have everything. It's crazy. They need a game studio. And Nintendo would
actually,
crazy.
Disney's looking at getting more mobile gaming.
Yeah, it is. So Nintendo. So
see, hand in
yeah.
hand.
I think it's this is just kind of a cute, basically a trainer rendition of princesses from the Disney games. And you know what? That whatever. That could just be. What if they had like a Pokemon in a Disney setting? What if it was like Kingdom Hearts? But it's just like in a Disney kind of world, and every single town is kind of based off of the Disney thing. And they just have Pokemon that kind of resemble what that whatever was about, like Ariel. Ariel could be like underwater somewhere, and there'd just be that where you get like the water Pokemon and stuff like
they
that.
Should have like they should have replaced
these are like
Sleeping
the 8 gym
Beauty
leaders
for like Jasmine or something.
Oh yeah, Jasmine's not.
Yeah, they have Tatiana from Frog Princess.
Who's the pink one?
The one in the top? That's Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, that's Sleep.
Yeah, it's Snow White.
Oh,
Snow
Sleeping
White,
Beauty.
Cinderella,
Oh, Aurora.
Sleeping
Okay.
Beauty, Belle, Ariel, Mulan, Tatiana, and Rapunzel.
Rapunzel. Yeah. Yeah. So they could be like the 8 gym leaders, and maybe the last one's Jasmine.
Maybe. Or she'll be the champion.
Maybe she's one of the Elite Four. Yeah, maybe the champion Elite Four or something like that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Elite Four.
The Elite Chlor.
Ooh.
So yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
another thing that's just basically another cute representation. This next one is also really weird.
Danny
It's
DeVito.
Just kind of creepy. What if like all the Pokemon were replaced by actors and it was just
What
a
if the
weird
Pokemon were just replaced by Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Okay.
Charlie in his
Charlie.
idea book. Why is that
that would-
chicken have teeth?
Whatchamacallit? Fuck it. Doug Trio would be played by, why can't I think of her name? You know what I'm talking about, because they call her Bird all the time.
D?
Anyway, yeah, D, because you'd be a big bird. Moving on, this is basically some cool fan art representations of, like, different evolutions of
This
Eevee.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, the first one, I kind of like the idea of Eevee naturally evolving into a normal, like a better normal type Pokemon. The second one, I believe, is probably fighting. That's what I would imagine, right?
Yeah, it's either
With, like, the
2 or
bracers.
4. 4 might be fighting too.
Yeah, 4, I can't tell what 4 would be. 3,
Poison?
Ghost? Or Poison. Poison for sure. The last one is flying, I imagine, on the top row.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
'Cause it looks like that dragon-type bird.
Oh,
Swilo,
the one right below the natural evolution. That's insect?
Bug, that'd be creepy.
Oh.
And then rock.
Then
Mummy.
that might be ghost?
Yeah. Must be
then-
ghost, because they already have a
and then
dark one.
dragon.
Dragon, that's cool. And then metal.
Metal looks kind of cool.
And- Yeah. So this is everything,
I hate
right?
poison types.
So
but
what would
that poison type
what
one?
would 4 be? It's got to be something they haven't done yet.
Yeah.
'Cause ground. Maybe it's ground.
Oh, yeah, ground. Yeah, because the bandages
Yes.
make sense. Because I mean, it looks like bandages, like fighting. I mean, the second one, it's got to be fighting because the bandages make sense from Muay Thai and whatnot.
Yeah. 4 is the only one that makes sense because there's no ground one.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other types. Huh.
Yeah.
Moving on though. This is also just a really crazy one.
This
Again,
obviously
just like a
has
funny...
to be what happens with the series.
So this one will tie into something that we'll get to later on. So let's just keep that for now. So Grand Theft Auto Pokemon.
Oh.
Then in mind for something that I do want to point out that fucking Pikachu is Goku.
Yeah. Super Saiyan level 3!
Yeah, well, I mean they have Mega Evolutions now, so
Yeah. Wouldn't he have to be
the next
Raichu then?
Yeah, well, he'd like devolve and then go back into Pikachu, or it's this alternate form or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. The next one, again, going back to Disney, what if it took place in the Marvel world, and all the trainers were basically some superhero or something like that, or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
Nick Fury would have better Pokemon than this.
Yeah, there's the Firebug. Well, Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo is a good.
That's the only
for him,
partner he
probably, I'd
has.
say. Yeah, I know that. I never used that Firebug. But that was also a weird combination.
Yeah.
But, just an idea. Along with the next one, she.
See those.
I mean
those
that
at
makes
least work.
makes
They're
sense.
all dark.
Because or poison or
Yeah.
steel or whatever, and sneaky.
Yeah, they're all sneaky.
So that's coolish. And the next one is more Legos, just more things to look at, just how amazing people are in creating shit. The next one, I think would be pretty funny, just to have a Pokemon.
Wrestling game?
They've been in Smash Brothers, obviously. But what if they just had their own fighting game? Because there's a lot to choose from.
WWE presents Poke Battle. You have a
That'd be
numbered
great.
series. Poke
Oh
Battle
my gosh,
2012.
And then like a secret character would be like The Rock, and it would basically look like The Rock, but it'd be like a big rock.
The Rock plus Genghis-Khan? Or The
Yeah,
Rock plus
or like
Machamp?
Graveler,
Machamp?
or just Machamp.
Or
That's
Girder?
good. Yeah, throw a giant beam. Also, what's there? I mean, there have been like fighting trainers in the past where like they have their own Pokemon ring, and they do have Pokemon fight. But what if they actually had them fight? I mean, one has a fucking balance beam, or not a balance beam, a rebar.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
he's
it's
got
called, right?
a big thing of steel on him.
Yeah, it's like, dude, that's a fucking giant beam of steel. You're gonna bash a Pokemon with that? No, come on. Scyther has like blades that can cut through trees. What?
Oh, what is that? Garchomp? Is that what that one is?
Garchamp's a tiny baby dragon.
What am I thinking of? It looks like a little like shark, and then it turns into this big like it's like Mega Evolution. It's just like its whole front is just teeth.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of that one. Yeah, that's dragon.
Oh.
It looks like a little.
He was already
thing.
scary in his like final evolution. They didn't need to make
and
him scarier.
There is a Pokemon that's just a goddamn sword.
That is true.
What if something like? What if? So when they had the promotional images for Black and White 2, they showed the dragon that looked like it was a fuse between Reshiram and the Zekrom. I was like, oh my gosh, what if they fuse Pokemon? That'd be amazing.
There was a Facebook group that all they did was until X and Y actually was like stuff started getting released. That's what they were releasing every like week or every couple days. They were releasing Pokemon fusions.
Do you know that there's a generator online where you can generate two Pokemon together?
Oh.
Yep, you just pick any one of the 700 whatever Pokemon, and then it'll create something. And a lot of them come off fucking weird looking, but a lot of them look like, oh wow, that's cool. Yeah. Again, that's Digimon territory, kind of, but it'd be interesting. Stop making the Pokemon just, I guess, focus on Mega Evolutions now. I don't know. That's technically a Pokemon, and that's really weird for the series to go into. Yeah, that's
definitely Digimon territory.
Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever. But the next one, this one's pretty interesting, because what if, again, yeah, so what if you just like fuse with Pokemon and then you fight?
You know, actually, I wrote a fan fiction back in like 8th grade. I wrote a fan fiction in 8th grade that was pretty much this concept. It was about.
You catch little
it was
girls.
about. It was pretty much a combination of Digimon and Pokemon. Actually, did you see season 4 of Digimon where they fused with like armors?
That's what came to mind, because I was like, I know they did that for one season at least. That they became the Digimon.
But that was pretty much it. It was like Pokemon and Ronin Warriors was what the two I was going with. So like, I think the main character was a Charmander, and then each of the Ronin Warriors was one of the Pokemon, and they ended up having to fight like the evil Mewtwo or something like that.
There actually has been a project. Someone basically hacked the Sapphire and Ruby, and it's called Moemon. And they literally, like, the entire game is exactly the same, and the Pokemon that travel with you and are in your bank or whatever, they look like the avatars, but when you get them into battle, they are basically girls dressed like Pokemon, and like, not like a cropped image, not like thrown in there. These are like hand-drawn pixels. They look amazing. I played the game for about like an hour or whatever. I was like, wow, this is really cool, but also kind of creepy, because it's Moemon, so these girls are like youngish or whatever. But it was still an interesting concept. But I was catching little girls, and that felt a little weird. Weirder than enslaving creatures, yes. That's because I'm a man. I'm just a rayon. So yeah, I think like a fuse thing could be kind of interesting because this could go into a territory that I keep on hinting at, and we're still not there yet. So this next one is pretty cool. It's kind of like Pokemon Conquest, but what if they actually set a Pokemon game in Japan, feudal era, and you had to like maybe even fight monsters and battle them and how they would look in real life. And this artist representation kind of looks like woodblock paintings, as you were saying in a private conversation we're having at one point. And I think right off the bat, Butterfree looks like a fly, actually.
Yeah.
Just a creepy fly, like that one guy from Tarantula, Jurassic Park. Who's that guy? David Goldman. What's that guy's name?
Oh, the fly. Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum up in here. Squirtle looks like he's dead. When your like lizard dies, their eyes get shrunken back. That's creepy.
Yeah, they're large and black.
Yeah, a lot of these look really pretty scary.
Yeah.
Primeape looks like that pig monster from Power Rangers.
Yeah, I can see that, definitely.
Pretty weird. And Graveler looks like the Titan from Hercules.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of these are pretty crazy looking.
Yeah,
the
only nicer looking ones would be like Meowth and Persian, or Vulpix.
Yeah, they look normalish.
Vulpix and Ninetales.
Vulpix and Ninetales. Oh yeah, they look fairly. They look more doggish.
Even Clefairy and Clefable look better than Jigglypuff and Jigglytuff. Or Wigglytuff.
Tuff looks just kind of weird, but Puff looks fucking crazy.
Remember that movie Critters?
Yes, the ripoff of that other movie. Can't think of what it is. Gremlins.
Oh, right.
That's what I was thought of.
Space aliens come down.
Wow, look at, I didn't notice this before, but look at Golduck. He looks kind of hairy and beefy.
God, he looks... Oh, did you see Psyduck? With his constant furrowing brow?
Yeah, that's really weird. So case in point is, these Pokemon would look crazy back in the day, as all demons kind of do in the drawings. Yeah. What if there's actually like a Pokemon, like there's actually like a drawing that someone did, and all the Pokemon are based off of something. I wonder if there's like some demon that's really based off some like kind of lore. I mean, like Ninetales, I guess.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
the Kitsune.
Yeah, but what if something like super that we don't even know about? There might be something. They don't have any Kappa Pokemon.
That is Golduck. I read.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, that's weird. There's no bowl of water in his head.
No. Hey, scroll up to Kakuna quick.
Yeah, I would have wanted.
You see the skull?
It's kind of.
Or not?
I guess it kind of looks like a skull. Yeah, it's weird for sure.
Oh, Metapod's got teeth.
Metapod looks like a turtle, like a skin flesh of like Ninja Turtles. Yeah, this is creeping me out. Let's move on to the next one, which is what I was trying to talk about before. And this is a comic, and it's a soon-to-be Ash reminiscing about days of future past. And yeah,
how many badges does this guy actually have?
Probably all of what Ash would have maybe had. But what if there was a game where you're an old man, you gotta go back.
Gotta go back in time.
Yeah. What if there's oh my gosh, what if there's a Pokemon Chrono Trigger crossover? Or not just a crossover, like concept where you time travel?
A Chrono game. People have been waiting for it. The next one. And a perfect...
I don't want that. They would gank it so much because they would have to settle their... They couldn't have any really mature themes in it.
Right.
I mean, even Nobunaga's Ambition is like, alright, we're really gonna get into it now. Pokemon fighting wars, and it was all still pretty silly. I'm like, this is Nobunaga. These are like generals, but they're not. But it was definitely more mature than any of the games, and I like Conquest a lot. And I don't know, the concept of being like an old man going back to, I don't know, something, or even like a Pokemon set in like a world war, because they always allude to a war happening. Like if you talk to Lieutenant Surge and his minions, like in the first one, it always like sounds like there's a conflict that went on, but you know there are soldiers around, but what are they soldiers of?
Yeah, it seems like war is a thing in the past.
Yeah, it's like the Keyblade War. It's like it happened, but no one talks about it really, besides it, you know, it being a thing. Yeah. It's crazy.
If this is Ash, what do you think his final 6 Pokemon were? Or actually 5.
Yeah, well, Pikachu, he's probably dead somewhere, maybe, I don't know.
Oh.
But he never had a ball, so, you know. It's definitely Ash because the hat's there, and, you know, it wouldn't be Brock. Can't lick her, yeah. What have I done with my life?
Pikachu! I choose you!
He must be like 200 since, like, Ash hasn't, like, gained any ages in, like, 10, 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
Like, it takes, like, 100-some years just to get, like, into his, like, 20s.
Ash reverse dog ages.
He's, Benjamin Buttoning.
Every 7 years, Ash gains a month.
Isn't there's got to be a god Pokemon by now, because all of the legendary Pokemon have some kind of god-like thing, like, this is the Pokemon that created this. There's got to be a time Pokemon, and nothing comes to mind now, but...
Whoa, what about Celebi?
Is that a time Pokemon?
I don't know if it creates time. I know it travels time? No.
Does it? Well, either way, what if the game was you're going through different ages, and you're seeing like all these crazy Pokemon that would really only exist in certain points in time that they break. Like, what if they just had a whole Pokemon game
with the dragons?
Yeah, what if like they just had a place where all the fossil Pokemon just like ran free? I mean, that's one thing. Like, holy crap, man! These are these fossil Pokemon. Like, oh, these ones are extinct. Like, yeah, okay, so Pokemon are extinct. Like, that's a crazy concept.
So there are Pokemon even bigger and badder that died out?
Yeah. That's scary. Like, what if they had it set during a time, like, in the past where you don't catch Pokemon and you're, like, monster hunting them and you're, like, making them into your arm or whatever, but make them, like, reboot it, you know, have, like, obviously the fossil Pokemon in there that you know, like Amistar and Kabuto and stuff like that, but also make them primarily, like, new Pokemon that look scary. Kind of like the Japanese one above that we just looked at.
Yeah.
And just have it just be about a caveman trying to survive, because cavemen don't have Pokeballs. You stupid? No, of course.
Hey, what about this?
And then maybe eventually someone goes back in time and something. I don't know.
What about this? What if this war that everyone's alluding to is kind of like Attack on Titan? They built these cities originally to keep Pokemon out because they were so afraid of them. And these are the dinosaur Pokemon. They're so big, they used to just, like, if they wanted to, they could destroy the cities, and they used to eat people. That's why you don't see food.
Technically, going back to Chrono Trigger now, so in Chrono Trigger, they had a huge, in Zeal, they had a huge, they were a futuristic technology, but that was back in, like, the Ice Ages.
Yeah.
So what if the same thing happens where there's something where advanced technology so far, yet these giant Pokemon ran free, and then eventually they led to the destruction of man, or mutual destruction, actually. What if they destroyed the Pokemon, and they destroyed the humanity, and eventually there's a pocket that kept on, they forgot about that conflict eventually, but it's just like this evolved eventually into modern day, where it was kind of forgotten that kind of happened.
Pokemon used to rule humans?
Kind of like in Chrono Trigger, because no one's like, remember when we used to have awesome flying technology? I guess technically in like 1000 AD where they kind of already had that.
Remember when dinosaurs...
The timeline is kind of confusing.
Remember when we fought dinosaurs and dinosaurs talked?
Yeah, I remember when Grimlock could transform into a whatever.
Roar! Knock a person off their stage.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool, but the last one that I want to look at is something that we kind of already talked about with the Moemon or whatever, but this one's more focused on just a select few here. And what if in like that war era, what if you like they fused with Pokemon? Like, what if that's how they fought their war? And then, again, you don't catch them, you fuse with them, and that technology was lost. And then eventually, like, how did we do Pokemon again? Oh, yeah, we caught them, right? Not fused. So, I don't know. Fusing with Pokemon could be a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Even sort of looks like Mega Man over there. It kind of reminds me of, I think you talked about this at one point, but Mega Man, the fusing games. Star Force, I think.
Yeah, Star Force is that game.
Or Mega Man ZX, Z and ZX, where it's post Zero and Mega Man X, where they became armor basically, and like a kid fused with them in armor, and they become Mega Man and Mega Man Zero. Essentially, it's like Biometal, I think it's called. So yeah, I don't know, fusing Dragon Ball Z style with Pokemon, where you grab a Pikachu and you finger him, and with the fingertips, not like fingers.
Fusion, ha!
Yeah.
Or slap an earring on him.
Boom, I'm Charmander now. Boom, I'm Trubbish. I'm the trash man.
Oh, God.
Oh, going back to DeVito. Boom, he's the trash man. He's the... taking you out. So yeah. Neat idea. What of all this now, wrapping it all up, what are you taking away from this? What do you want? What do you want?
I would like an open world Pokemon game. I know it'd be a little like clunky to get it right, but I think if they pull in some good developers like level 5, like we were talking about, or
yep, that'd be the base. Ni no Kuni was Pokemon. They just couldn't really say this is Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean
it's cool. And if they just put it in that world is beautiful, so good.
Yeah,
they can make a Pokemon game.
Get
like
Studio Ghibli involved. Get level 5. Maybe let Game Freaks have a break.
Blammo. Because I have played their other games, and their other games are pretty unique. And they should definitely go back to creating new ideas. That's kind of like my idea in sequels in general. It's like, man, do I love Metal Gear Solid, but I know Kojima wants to... I know he wants to make something else, but he's just kind of like hold down because Metal Gear is basically the only viable franchise that Konami has going for it now. Even like Castlevania's kind of gone downhill, so
yeah.
But they're probably like, you're gonna be making Metal Gear for the rest of time.
For the rest of your natural born life.
Yeah, there's so many creators that I know they would like to make something different, but they're just like stuck. Like, you gotta do this because this makes us money, and that's what we're all about on some level. It's probably like the super higher up, like, yeah, you gotta do this. I need monies. I need to get those Pokemon, do some blow off them. Yeah. Cynical, yes, but I'm just saying that I'd like to see them get a different chance.
Yeah.
Technically, they did. The last spin-off from Pokemon was Harmonite for the 3DS. I don't know if you ever played that.
I had the demo.
It's like a rhythm game. It was okay. They could definitely do better if they had more time.
Yeah.
It's kind of a small side project that I'm sure just a small team worked on it, but yeah. So yeah, Pokemon. Let's move on.
Boom, ba-chak, boom, boom, ba-chak.